4 seconds to go. Missed free throw. Horford the rebound. Here's Pritchard. He loves these. Puts it up half court to the buzzer. Bang! Pritchard at the buzzer with a three-pointer.
Pritchard, half court. It's in the air.
Go!
He got it. He did it again.
He's done it again. They put him in for these situations. No hesitation.
With the world watching, he knocks down a half-court three.
Kendrick Perkins didn't mince words last night on X, posting a straight bleep kicking tonight by the Celtics to top off one of the greatest championship runs in NBA history. Carry on. All right, SA, is Boston the next NBA dynasty?
I believe so. I know that there's the conventional thinking, as reiterated to me by both Kendrick Perkins and, of course, the great Mike Wilbon, that that's not happening. Competition is too tough, blah, 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 blah. Numerous teams in the West, some in the East. I get all of that. Let me just throw some stats by you. The Boston Celtics are returning 12 players, including the entire starting 5. Unlike most teams, the Phoenixes, the Milwaukees, the Minnesotas, the Clippers of the world, they have access to their own first-round picks in 7 of the next 8 years, okay? Including this upcoming draft where they own their first-round pick at number 30 and a second-round pick at number 54 via Dallas. By the way, that'd be interesting. What if they grab LeBron James, Bronny James, rather? That would be funny, okay? But that's just me. That's just me talking, all right? So you got that going on. I'm looking at it from that standpoint, and that money is not really an object. You're going to give Jason Tatum his $315 million, just like you gave Jaylen Brown his $304 million. You already gave Drew Holiday his $135 million. Derek White is eligible for about $120 to $130 million, okay? And you got Porzingis locked up for another year or 2 as well.
2 years.
2 years, right? And so with all of that going on, why not? Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are not even 28 years of age yet. I mean, they already know how to win, and they were knocking on the door. It's not like they were mired in mediocrity and then catapulted this year. Jaylen Brown has been to 6 conference finals and 2 NBA finals. Jason Tatum has been to 5 conference finals and 2 NBA finals. And now they're champions. So you're the reigning defending champions now. Neither of you are 28 years of age. You're the cornerstones of the franchise. And the supplementary parts that you have are experienced in the division. Derek White was a Division II player that's now going to be considered for an Olympic spot in the event where we should say if he's the guy that's going to replace Kawhi Leonard, let's congratulate him now because we know Kawhi Leonard ain't going to play. We know he ain't going to make it there. He ain't going to make it back. He might get injured flying to Paris. So we're going to throw that out the way, okay? And you got Drew Holiday. All right, and he's already a 2-time champion now. What's the problem? I'm looking at the Boston Celtics. Why couldn't they repeat? Why? They're already the prohibitive favorite.
And now you're all in on the coach, too.
35 years of age.
Yeah, look, he's been very impressive. Okay, so the last 6 years, we have 6 different champions.
That's unreal.
Yes.
We are in an era of parity.
Yeah.
The new rules, which are coming on in full effect starting July 1st, are designed to break up super teams. Now, you may say they're not really a super team in a classic sense, and you're right. Stephen A. just listed all those salaries. They're being paid like a super team. So I think money is an object because at some point it starts to really squeeze you, not so much in the actual dollars and cents, but it limits what you can do both now and in the future.
Yeah.
Being in the quote-unquote second apron is now not necessarily good business, not just for the balance sheet, but for how you construct your team. I would love to have seen Denver play in these finals. Now, Dallas absolutely earned it. They won 3 series without home court. Denver losing Game 7 at home to Minnesota is an underrated failure that happened in this season. Inexcusable that happened. The only team the Boston Celtics didn't solve this year was the Nuggets. The Nuggets were 2-0 against them. That is a series that
Those are both nail-biters, though. They came down to the last shot.
They did not beat them.
It came down to the last shot.
Well, they could have come down to the last shot in games 1 and 2 of the finals. It could have been 2-0 Denver. So I'm just saying, now, Denver's got something going on that not people are talking about. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope has a player option by the end of this month, and he is going to not use it. He is going to become a free agent. And Denver, they're going to have to pay him. I think there's going to be 10 teams that would try to sign Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. And if Kentavious Caldwell-Pope walks, one of their championship core members, is not going to be able to be replaced. So Denver's got their own challenges. the lay of the land in the system is going to make it harder on them to become a dynasty. It's not just a referendum on whether they can do it. If they win another one in the next couple of years, that will have been a major accomplishment just because of where the league is right now in the parity.
You think what holds them up more is the East and moves that could potentially happen in free agency there when we're looking at a Philly or a Miami or even New York, or are you just the West?
They're going to be a heavy favorite in the East no matter what, because I don't see any moves that anybody can make that is going to keep them on an even keel. Philly's got the most important 3 weeks they've had in 3 years, what they do coming up here. And they see how good Boston is. Milwaukee, in theory, is getting Dame and Giannis healthy.
Milwaukee.
You know, for sure. So, and Orlando is sort of a sneaky team. But clearly, the Celtics are the favorites. The most movable team there that's going to be different maybe by July 15th is the 76ers. They could make a move or two where that 15-1 gets way up closer. But Boston's going to be the favorite in the East. Winning the whole thing again, I'm not ready to just hand it to them as awesome as they are.
I do think their chances are really high, though, Wendy. When you talk about repeating as a champion or being a dynasty, what are the things that are important? Having a championship culture, which they have because they just won it. Having a system that you're committed to, which they have. We have seen Joe Mazzulla completely committed, and really their system is based off of analytics, which I think is extremely different in terms of the degree that they base what they do off of analytics, and continuity. Not just continuity in your role players, which I know that's going to change not next year but the year after, but continuity in your two superstars. And when you think about having a system, anyone else that you're going to swap in and out, you still have your two superstars. And because they have such a solid system, you know exactly who, the type of player you want to try and go get. Now, it might not be to the degree that Derek White is great or to the degree that Drew Holiday is great, but because of the system they're in, they know. And what do we know about Brad Stevens? What have we talked about with him this whole time? He knows exactly who he needs to put on this team. So I do think the Celtics are in prime position, well, however you define a dynasty, but success over a great period of time, 5 years, 4 years, whatever it is, repeat champions, the Celtics are in a perfect spot for that. Yeah.
Well, they're not allowed to aggregate contracts, you know, as of July 1st, and they've been they've been over the luxury tax in April for the third consecutive year now. That's why they're not allowed to do that. So it's going to be real interesting to see what happens, but they've kept their team intact.
And they draft well.
And they draft well.
All right, coming up, where do the Celtics rank among the best franchises in sports? We're breaking down which team is the pinnacle of the sports world. You don't want to miss it. Plus, we're rewinding the clock to see if Steph Curry would have been the Steph we know today if he'd been drafted by the Knicks. Wait till you hear what his father said. Stephen A. so amped for this.